when did you start realizing that there was what you thought was happily ever after clearly was a demon coming out of the mist?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. The demon came later. I knew that I had married someone that had kind of done a bait and switch on me on my honeymoon. There was not physical intimacy. I was looking forward to my honeymoon like any other
Right.
red blooded American, and it was not the romantic honeymoon that I thought it was going to be. He was very cold. He was started to be very controlling. I came home from my honeymoon and called one of my bridesmaids that was in my wedding and crying, saying, I think I've made a mistake. I
Do you not
really,
think
really
that you
think
made a
I've made a
mistake?
mistake.
Didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have any regrets going down that aisle?
I didn't. Not one.
So you was
Not
all
one.
for this.
I was all in.
Okay. So then
I
you
was
go
all in.
on your honeymoon. What happens on the honeymoon that you just felt something just wasn't what it's supposed to be?
Few things. I was looking around at the other couples and they were best friends. They were laughing together and buddies, and I was beginning to realize when I always had a very loud sense of humor, and very boisterous and kind of off color sense of humor. I'll say things that, shouldn't probably say, but I find it funny and and he was fine with that. Then we get on our honeymoon and I'm trying to be myself and he would say, Shh, you're being loud. Don't say that. I can't believe you said that. And it started making me self conscious. When we were clubbing, this was back when you could smoke in a restaurant or in a club. And it was 1998 and we were at a disco and we were all drinking and having fun and smoking. And I said, hey, give me a cigarette from some of the couples that we had met. And I went to smoke and he said, I can't believe you're doing that. Why are you? And he knew he didn't have a problem with it before. Suddenly everything about me was a problem. My body, I was fat. I was too athletic looking. I was too loud. I shouldn't say those things. I shouldn't do those things. And that just starts breaking you down over time, and I realized I was afraid something funny would come to mind and I would want to say it. And then I would remember, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Or I'd laugh loud and then I would catch myself thinking, oh, I shouldn't have laughed so loud. And over time, that just deteriorates your personality and who you are.
How did you see yourself changing from that moment? Because like you said, you're gonna speak your mind. You're gonna be you. You're gonna dance. You're gonna do what you need to do to be yourself. How did that start affecting you? That now you gotta basically walk on eggshells.
Right. Right. I was a woman that worked her way through college, paid every dime of it, and I graduated magna cum laude. I was a woman who got an MBA and was a consultant traveling all over the Southeast by myself. And this was before, we had cell phones with a map on it. You had to fly in, go to the rentals car, then, draw out how to get to the hotel. And you have to turn on your light and look at your directions to try to get there. And the next morning, get up and go to customer site. There was no phone to guide you. There was no GPS. So, we had to do things the old fashioned way. And I turned into a woman who was afraid to speak her mind, who was self-conscious of everything she said or did, had no friends because she second-guessed everything that she said. I never left the house. My whole world became my children and my ex-husband and my home. And I began to drink, not so much at first, a glass or two of wine at night, and then more and more, and just shutting down and shutting down and shutting down. It was a terrible experience.